Grace and peace to one and all. Just finished eating. Praise be to the Most High. Most High always come first. So I want to start off with the Most High, giving him praise, honor, and glory. I'm going to read a piece of scripture for you guys. It comes from Daniel, chapter 4. I'm not going to read the whole thing. You can read it yourself. But I'm going to summarize it. King Nebuchadnezzar, who was the king of the Babylonian Empire, he sent a message to people of every race and nation and language throughout the world saying, peace and prosperity to you. I want you all to know about the miraculous signs and wonders of the Most High God that he has performed for me. How great are his signs, how powerful his wonders. His kingdom will last forever, his rule through all generations. He starts to narrate about a dream he had in which there was this beautiful tree came out the ground, was growing, spreading its branches and everything. And then the tree was strong and everything, and then a messenger or angel from heaven came and said, cut down the tree, chop off its branches, shake off its leaves, scatter its fruit, chase the animals from its shade and birds from its branches, leave the stump and roots in the ground. And that was the dream. It said, now let him be drenched with the dew of heaven, let him live like an animal among plants of the fields. For 7 periods of time, let him have the mind of an animal instead of a human. For this has been decreed by the angels. It is commanded by the holy ones. Hold on 1 second. We always have a disturbance in this country. The spirit of this country is weird. Right, so keeping it moving. Let him know that the Most High rules over the kingdoms of the world and gives them to anyone he chooses, even the lowliest of humans. So this was the dream he had, and he could get anybody in Babylon to interpret the dream, except for a slave who was employed by him in his palace named Daniel, also known as Belteshazzar. Daniel interpreted the dream. He said that God would take the kingdom from Nebuchadnezzar for a period of time and drive Nebuchadnezzar mad. And he would be in the fields with the animals and plants, and he would eat out there, and he would be crazy for 7 years. After them 7 years, his heart would change, and he would turn to the Most High God. And so said, so done. Nebuchadnezzar, was boasting to some people about all the accomplishments he had. And while he was speaking, a voice came from heaven and said, "Oh, King Nebuchadnezzar, this message is for you. You are no longer the ruler of this kingdom. You will be driven from human society. You will live in the fields with wild animals, and you will eat grass like a cow. 7 periods of time will pass while you live this way until you learn the Most High rules over the kingdoms of the world and gives them to anyone he chooses." And so said, so done. For 7 years, he was out there mad, eating grass. His hair and nails grew very long, and he was like an animal. And after those 7 years, Nebuchadnezzar said this, "After this time had passed, I, Nebuchadnezzar, looked up to heaven. My sanity returned, and I praised and worshiped the Most High and honored the one who lives forever. His rule is everlasting, his kingdom is eternal. All the people of the earth are nothing compared to him. He has the power to do as he pleases among the angels of heaven and with those who live on earth. No one can stop him or challenge him, saying, 'What do you mean by doing these things?' When my sanity returned to me, so did my honor and glory and the kingdom. My advisors and officers sought me out, and I was reestablished as head of my kingdom, with even the greater honor than before. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, Praise and glorify and honor the King of heaven. All his acts are just and true, and he's able to humble those who are proud. Why am I sharing this with you guys? Because you got to understand your very life that you have right now came from the Most High. As such, there is nothing that you do that can sustain you or keep you. It is the Most High and the Most High alone. And as such, you should give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High. That's why I start my videos with the Most High comes first. Whether I fall and I falter, sometimes I curse and swear and stuff like that on these videos, I first give all glory and praise to the Most High. I suggest you guys do the same. I've seen boxers give praise and glory to the Most High as well. That is where your success and all of your strength comes from. And your life. All your emotions, everything. It's from the Most High. He provided it for you. And as easy as you have risen, he could take it from you and you can fall. So I just wanted to share that with you guys before going into what Andrew Ward said about Canelo Alvarez. Now, I don't agree with everything Andrew Ward said, but the general tone, what he was saying was true. He said that Canelo Alvarez made the excuse that, he didn't want to face a smaller fighter and not get the credit for it. The problem with Canelo Alvarez, like Andrew Ward said, is he's not consistent with anything. He says one thing, he does another. And so he's lying. Let's look at Canelo Alvarez's resume, shall we? Canelo Alvarez fought at 160. He fought, I believe it was Miguel Cotto at 160, even though it was a catchweight, to become middleweight champion of the world. Then he goes down to 154 and faces Liam Smith, who was a smaller fighter than him, stops him to become the WBO champion of the world. He's fighting a smaller fighter. Yes, he did come down in size, not much, but he fought a smaller fighter than him. Okay. He then went on to have fights with Triple G, Danny Jacobs. All of these are good fights. Then he had a fight with some guy, I can't remember what the guy's name is, a 168 pounder at a catchweight, I believe it was, or something like that. And he also fought Julio Cesar Chavez at a catch. He went on after that to he wasn't going to unify. He did not unify. Instead, he went up and he fought Sergey Kovalev, a 175 pounder. When he came back down to 168, he fought, I believe it was Callum Smith for the WBC and WBA championship belt. He then went on to face Billy Joe Saunders and beat him for the WBO, and then he faced Caleb Plant for the IBF and beat him. Okay, nobody's knocking those fights, but then after that, what does he do? He goes on to face John Ryder, who is a 168 pounder, so there's another problem. A small 168 pounder, but I'm sorry about that, people, but my country is one in which when you try to do something, there's a spirit of resistance that resists you trying to move forward. So this is going to happen. Different things are going to rise up from wherever they're going to rise up from and happen. It's a spiritual wickedness in this place. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So nothing's wrong with John Ryder fight, even though there's a David Benavidez who should have gotten the fight, and there was some other guy who became Canelo's mandatory for the WBC championship when David Benavidez should have been facing. Okay, having said that, he then goes on to face, after John Ryder, Jermell Charlo. What is so ironic about this is Canelo Alvarez saying that, but you just faced Jermell. You got credit for that. You fought Amir Khan coming up from 147 and knocked him out. You got credit for that. Canelo, the one thing that Andrew was correct about, Canelo says a lot of things that did face a Mexican fighter because he doesn't want to fight against Mexicans. They're his countrymen, blah, 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 blah. And now he's going to be facing Jaime Munguia, a Mexican who doesn't speak a lick of English. Yeah? While I disagree with Andre Ward that Terence Crawford facing Canelo Alvarez right now, Canelo's ducking Terence Crawford, he is contradicting himself. Because right after coming out facing Jermell Charlo, who came up from 154, you're saying now you don't want to face you don't want to face Terence Crawford? You've been pulling guys up in weight to fight you. What? This is now a problem? So that's where Andrew Wood is right. Where I don't agree with him is I think Canelo will whoop Terence Crawford's ass. Having Terence Crawford never fought at 168, hasn't acclimatized to the weight, none of that. What Terence Crawford is doing right now makes sense. Facing Chris Eubank Jr., big 160 pounder, so that he could get acclimatized to that weight class. He jumped up 2 weight classes to face Chris Eubank Jr. That kind of makes sense. What doesn't make sense to me is him just taking on Canelo just like that. Like Floyd Mayweather said, let him take on David Benavidez then. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to do Canelo, you might as well do David Benavidez, because it don't make no sense, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care what Terence Crawford says. I don't care what Andre Ward says. Andre Ward was talking about this in respect to Terence Crawford. But really and truly, you look at Canelo, Canelo's contradicting himself over and over again. Over and over again. Because David Benavidez, he's avoiding David Benavidez. He's ducking him. Clearly. Right? This is the same guy who says, payday, payday, you want payday. Who you beat? What champion you beat? Okay, well, what champion did John Ryder beat? I'm just saying. What champion did whatever the mandatory guy name is beat? See what I'm saying? So Canelo is inconsistent. He says one thing, he does another thing. And there, I think Andrew Ward has a point in his criticism of Canelo. Right now, Canelo is clearly ducking David Benavidez. And we saw, an interview with David Benavidez that was supposed to have, fought twice before, and Canelo's team again pulled out. So he's ducking. Floyd Mayweather never talked like that. He never did things like that. Manny Pacquiao never did things like that. Oscar De La Hoya never did things like that. And those are the legends that came before Canelo. Canelo's the first guy who's clearly ducking David Benavidez. He's clearly ducking him. And that's the fight to make. It's 168. David Benavidez has been at 168. He's a natural 168 pounder. He has earned his shot at Canelo. Jaime Munguia has earned nothing to face Canelo Alvarez. Nothing. Only been in the division for 2 fights. Has faced no one. At least, when you talk about David Benavidez, you could talk about Anthony Durrell. You could talk about, that win. But Jaime Munguia hasn't beaten nobody of note. No one. You know what I mean? So it's very disgraceful that Canelo is trying to do a money grab and face Jaime Munguia. And then we heard that Edgar Berlanga was another guy that was mentioned. Come on, man. Canelo he wilding out. He's wilding out. All right? So, and you ain't going to face the pound for pound #1 fighter in the world? It's just really retarded. So Andrew Ward made some really good comments when it comes to that. With respect to Anthony Joshua getting all this praise for beating Francis Ngannou, he did what he's supposed to do. Ngannou's at 1 fight short of being a debutant, and the fight that he debuted with, he lost. Y'all overhyping Ngannou. Everybody was overhyping Ngannou. We know that's a circus show. We know Joshua was supposed to put him out. That's what he's supposed to do. Ngannou doesn't know how to respond to feinting. He doesn't know, how to respond to high-level boxing. He's still learning, and he has to learn a lot more. Okay, Tyson Fury underperformed. Tyson Fury has to cheat to try to beat other fighters, like Vladimir Klitschko. like Deontay Wilder. He has to cheat. And against Alexander Usyk, if the playing field is even, Usyk's gonna whoop Fury's ass. Period. Now I see people coming out here talking about boxing's heating up and stuff. They stealing my lyrics. They're stealing my channel's information. They come on my channel, they watch my stuff, and then they go off to do their content based on what I and my channel have said. So that's all I got for you guys right now. I am what you need. Don't forget you can donate via PayPal. The link is in the description of this stream. I will catch you guys later. Peace.